What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pick Six Podcast, CBS Sports Daily NFL Podcast. I'm Brinson. I'm your host. It is, if you're listening to the podcast, Friday, August 26th. If you're watching the podcast in YouTube form, and we appreciate any and all watchers or listeners, it is Thursday, August 25th, and we are going to break down the preseason for week 3. Thankfully, I spent an ample amount of time researching the Thursday night games, forgetting that this podcast airs the next day, such is the nature of me in general. Joining me to talk some NFL preseason, Ryan Wilson and John Breech. What's up, boys?
I was doing great until Breech sent us an article that says tattoo inks used in the U.S. may contain cancer-causing chemicals, new study finds.
It's really not a cool thing to do right before we go on air.
Well,
ever.
If you guys want to put me in your wills, put me in your wills for being such a good friend.
Now I'm not going to get a tattoo if there's a chance I get like cancer ink.
There's only a chance, man. There's a chance you could die when you get in your car. Like, come on now.
That's not.
You got to pick your battles, Brinson, and you lost this battle because you already promised the listeners you get a tattoo if we won this award.
We got to win the award first.
It's not up for battle or debate anymore.
When does voting close, Debo?
Can we stop bearing the lead and see our now twice tatted Ryan Wilson?
Wait. You didn't really get a second tattoo?
I did.
No, you did not.
I asked. Nada knows what's up.
What are you talking about?
I
told you that already.
Did you?
Well, let's see the
I thought you were joking.
That's the first tattoo. Everyone's seen that one.
There's Snoopy.
Do I have another one?
Oh.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
What is that?
He's gonna have a whole sleeve the next time we see him. My God,
What is going on?
I told you that.
That's not a real tattoo.
I told you that. That's a family tattoo. I can't just have a Snoopy on one arm like a complete and utter moron. So I got one.
Wait, hold it up for a little bit longer and let's see it. Is it like one of those things that goes on? Is that those tents?
Those are origami elephants. My wife drew it up. She
Wait.
How did you know my family crest was an elephant? Why do you have my family crest on your arm?
I had the Bengals on one side,
Just
and then the Breech family crest on the other.
Wait. So when you said the other day when you're like, I have a heart out, I have to go get a second tattoo, you really meant that.
Yeah, I did.
Wow. So you're just
unlike you. I just don't make up random excuses to take off and go play golf.
Guilty.
Hey,
so your mic went out for a second.
I'll be honest, Brinson. I'm on Team Brinson here. Wilson, I thought you were joking. I did not think you were getting another.
Why would we think that you were going to get a second tattoo?
Well, I explained. Like I said, okay, look, I finally came around and did the bet for the Snoopy thing, but I can't just have one Snoopy tattoo on my arm wearing a Bengals jersey. I like to offset that with something that at least is somewhat related to me thinking about my family. That's why. What are you going to say, Breech?
You could have got a tattoo of Will Ferrell in Old School saying "Snoop-a-loop." Like,
I'm glad I stopped talking for you to say that out loud.
I mean, Old School holds up about as well as any movie like ever. I watched it the other day.
Breech came out with the worst part of it to add to this conversation.
Snoop-a-loop.
For the record, I believed you the entire time that you were.
I know. I don't know. Like Debo.
I didn't think you were lying. I was just joking.
Okay, well, that's sort of the same side of the coin, right?
Well, I just didn't think you're like, I'm going to get a second tattoo. It's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I went last Friday at 3 p.m. Kevin hooked me up, and he was fantastic.
Okay, I have a couple follow-up questions on this.
Yeah.
It
didn't hurt as bad. So when you get your second tattoo, you'll know that.
Did you have like consumer guilt over getting your first tat in Nashville and not providing business to the local Syracuse tattoo people that you had talked to frequently, and now you just
I didn't go to the tattoo shop that you guys called.
Oh, where'd you go?
I went to Origins and Ink in North Syracuse. Kevin did a fantastic job, and I actually had made that appointment prior to going to Nashville, so I knew I was going to do it. That's why I told you, and that's why only Debo believed me.
Okay, did you feel like you needed to?
And I mentioned it to Nada too while you guys were.
You only work with tattoo artists who have the letter V in their name. Kevin,
go ahead, Brinson. I'm talking to this.
Valerie is next.
I think Breech is on the same. Breech is on the same illegal substance that some other guest recently must have been on when you spoke with him.
Or Aaron Rodgers.
Oh. I was like, who? I was like, oh, right. Yes.
This is the weirdest 4-minute start Breech has had in a long time.
Really, it really is.
I don't believe that's illegal. What you're talking about is illegal in Seattle, just for the record. If I'm assuming
so I'm done getting tattoos. Although, as Nada has explained to me, once you get one, you typically don't.
I don't think you're done.
I don't know. I don't have anything else.
You got one, and then you got another one within a week.
I had already planned it because I had planned to offset the Snoopy one.
Okay. So it looks like you had 4 origami elephants.
And a little mountain.
It looked from here. I mean, watching it across from like one stream to another stream, it almost looked like 4 little camping tents.
Kind of looks like that. Here, I'll put it in Slack. You can look at
Which
it.
is actually kind of cool because it's like, I mean,
I wanted something
you guys
simple.
have 4 people in your family, right?
I wanted something simple. I told my wife, this is what I'm thinking, draw it up. And she came up with it. And I was like, cool. It didn't take long. It didn't hurt as much. And it was cheaper. Win, win, win. So, yeah. And if you Google like elephant tattoo meaning, it's like family and strength or something like that. So I was like, okay, that's good enough.
I like that they're trunk to butt. They're all
different, according to my wife.
Well, yeah, they're all
Well, they're not all identical, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Strength, loyalty, divinity, and good luck. The divinity part we probably should have left out when it
So
comes
are
to
you the one in the back, or like what's the deal here?
I'm the mountain.
I'm the sun burning down on it. Wait, who's the 4th?
That's a wrap.
Yeah, this is kind of cool. I like this.
It's simple. So it didn't take long. Like I said, it didn't hurt as much.
That one. Which one do you think will be more asked about when you're at the pool flexing those guns out? Like, when the gun show's going on, I do not go to the pool, so that won't happen there. Yeah, but you wear a short enough shirt. You wear enough like t-shirts where people are going to see.
I walk around. We have in New York, the small towns are called villages. I walk around in the village with no shirt on, so I will probably get asked about it, and just jean shorts. So I had imagined the Snoopy
that's a
one.
joke, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know, man. You got a second tattoo. What? I don't know you anymore.
Breech. I would imagine the Snoopy one just because it looks ridiculous. Like, why do you have a Snoopy tattoo on your arm as a man?
But I think the origami elephants is like tougher to discern, like exactly what's going on. If you see the sketch, you obviously get it. But it's like maybe that could be like, oh, like I see.
Yeah, but it's halfway up my arm. I don't think anyone's asking about it.
Like just put your arms up like in a manner that. Yeah, that's pretty hidden because they're on the inside there. Interesting.
Yeah. By the way, also burying the lead.
Did the listeners pay for the origami elephant?
No, this one was only it was $80 compared to the other one, which was substantially more than that.
So the listeners paid for it.
No, of course not. I'll show you the receipts on my Venmo. The other lead that was buried, and Breech, you can confirm this. Brinson got all the credit for my "Would You Rather" from the Atlanta Falcons social media group. Unbelievable.
I don't know. I didn't ask them to do that. I told you
100% did.
Brinson emailed it to them. You know what happened? And said, I came up with this question on the podcast. You should ask all your players. And if you tweet it out, make sure to mention I, with a capital I, came up with it and not Ryan Wilson.
That's just not true. A buddy of mine who works for the Falcons, listens to the podcast, heard that. It was all, I told you guys that they were all chatting about it at the office. And so then they're like, why don't we ask the players? And they were kind enough to tag me.
Thank you.
Without my request and the podcast. See, you were tagged as the podcast.
Oh my God. Unbelievable. Yeah. Typical though. I thought it was funny that they actually put the question, because that's the thing now that the social media teams will ask players questions all across the league as they come off the field and they're silly questions or whatever. And again, the responses were split, but I don't remember who said it. But the guy who said they don't make no landmine boots is exactly right. Like they make snake boots. They don't make landmine boots. Yeah. So I agree with that dude. I have to go look up and see who it is because I don't know if he made the team or not, but he should be the starting quarterback. Whoever said that, because he's made the most sense.
Yeah, I mean, look,
would you like to take this opportunity to apologize to me for once again stealing my thunder?
I apologize for accidentally stealing any of your thunder. It was not.
I'll take that.
Certainly not intentional.
As a sincere apology, I'll take it.
This is about as close as you're going to get. Okay, yeah, so right. We should probably cover the Thursday games at the end, since this is Friday's audio show.
Why would we cover them at the end if they've already happened? Unless we have.
And we should also talk about your lackluster bids as well.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was sent here. I wasn't supposed to produce this show.
Yeah,
and
here we go.
I just, Brinson is measured by podcast downloads, YouTube views, social engagement, and also eBay bids.
I don't even know what the score is. What's the score?
We're very close. All around the $30 mark right now.
How long do we have until
7 days and 4 hours. So
okay, well,
1st of September at 6 p.m. You can see the QR code up there in the top right, all benefiting St. Jude's. I know Brinson will be on the Draft-a-thon.
Next Wednesday night at 10:20 with Adam Azer and Nando Dafino.
Oh, Nando. Tell Nando hi. He's from Syracuse.
Yeah, Nando's the best. So Azer and I were texting yesterday. He's like, honestly, he's like, these random live streams with you and Nando are my favorite part about my job. And I was like, mine too, actually. So
I love Nando. By the way, shout out to Greg, who's a 49ers fan, who bid on me last year, bid on me again this year. I appreciate. What is Sampson doing, slapping Brinson around on live television? 909 to 31. Oh my God.
Well, Samson, but Samson's has the Levitard show backing.
Well, you're friends with Mike Glennon.
There you go. All right. So look, all right. So Dom makes a point. Like Will doesn't know how to use email. Look, man. I mean, I'll be honest. Like I'm trying to handle my work email currently, and like my personal email is a mess, and is going to like if you email me something like a fantasy football question or any kind of like podcast question or anything right now, like it's not, you're not going to get a response in like any sort of reasonable amount of time, just because I am backed up on various things that I have to do. I apologize for that. I'm not going to go through the laundry list of what they are, but
by the way, I just want to point out, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the bids there. I'm at $30, just $1 behind Brinson. Again, shout out to Greg for keeping me in this thing. When I saw Coach's picture, initially I thought that was Prisca, but I said there's no way Prisca's dressing up that nicely. But Coach is up on us by $20. So,
and I would like to point out that we already bid on each other. And what, 2 weeks ago they did bids?
I'm confused.
Yeah, I have no idea what's happening.
I'll do if we like, it's supposed to be a pre-fantasy draft call. I mean, like I'll do your whole I'll hop on a Zoom and do the whole draft with you for the call. Like just bid up.
I will talk to you about anything but fantasy football.
Yeah.
That's what I promise you.
So yeah, go to what's the link, Tebow?
Hit the QR code on the YouTube.
QR code if you're watching. It'll be in the episode description if you're listening and want to check it out. I don't know. I feel like I could drum up some competition between the three of you. We don't have to compete.
Well, I want to know why we have two. I already sold for $100. My fans are out of money. I'm out of this.
Wait, Breech is at 100?
No, Breech is the last one we did. We're now up to
the last one from 2 weeks ago. I don't know why we're selling ourselves.
This is another one?
Yes.
Oh, that I didn't know.
I know. Yeah, who would do two things who do the same things that quickly in a row? Like only an insane person.
So what is Breech at now?
Just kidding. You got your tattoos like in the same amount of time.
All right. Yeah. Make this.
Good one. All right. Devo, we have a lot of games to cover. Are you done?
Yeah.
Done with you.
Just,
Devo, do you have an answer for why we're selling our bodies 2 weeks in a row?
It's for the kids.
Yeah, okay. We're trying to raise money for dude.
You were about minus 4,000% of what you tallied last year, so I think there was eagerness to relist you.
To be fair, that's Johnny's fault for bidding that much money.
I'll tweet it out soon. But yeah, but I'll do your whole fantasy draft with you. Like I'll just tell you who you should take. Like we just sit there and like we'll drink beer and you draft. You can bring me if you're going to like your live 12-man draft. You can bring me on like a FaceTime. I don't care. We'll do whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Brinson did a bourbon draft with my accountant. He will literally do anything.
I wasn't a draft so much
as bourbon live stream. Sorry,
bourbon tasting. Yeah, it was fantastic. I actually brought back some Chattanooga whiskey. They had it in the airport in Nashville. You could just buy it and toss it in your bag. And
did you get that duty free? That's an international travel.
It was like it wasn't duty free. It was like
that's a joke.
You can just sell whiskey in the airport in Nashville apparently, which is kind of cool.
Free. You like that, Breech? That was pretty good, right?
Duty free.
Hilarious.
All right.
Let's
talk some preseason.
Bye, Debo.
Debo will be around. He's addicted.
Debo's taking a nap. He's done.
Friday, Buffalo at Carolina. The Panthers are -6 in this game. Baker Mayfield has been named the starter. We'll go through somewhere in the second quarter of this game against the Bills. Darnold will then play next, and then followed by PJ Walker. The Bills will not be playing any of their starters. Kind of like Carolina first half and maybe Carolina full game. Because Darnold still needs to show something. And
why?
I mean, Baker's already been named the starter, so he just, I mean, like,
Darnold needs to show. PJ Walker played terribly. Matt Corral's hurt. Tim Darnold go ahead and throw 10 interceptions left-handed. He's still going to be the backup quarterback.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Jason in the chat asked, "It's tradition we take 2 Jaeger bombs before the draft starts. You in with us if I win?" Yeah. Yeah, of course I'll take 2 Jaeger bombs.
That's called a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, I don't know. We can draft.
First, we'll take 2 Jaeger bombs if he gets on the call. call.
We can just Sunday morning at 11 a.m. and I'll take 2 Jaeger bombs with you.
Who asked that question? Jason.
Jason.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Jason, just so you know, last week we were in Nashville, and Tuesday was a long night for all of
Woo!
us. Wednesday at lunch, while we were waiting to get our poke bowls, Brinson went and got a beer.
Actually, I went and got a margarita. I went and got a margarita.
True.
I went to go get a beer, and somebody at the bar was getting a margarita. I was like, "Oh my god, that looks fantastic!"
I felt like I couldn't even hold down water. My man's drinking margarita. So Jaeger bombs, that's called an appetizer.
Yeah, I mean, Jaeger bombs. The problem with Jaeger bombs is, you know what a Jaeger bomb is, right, Wilson?
It's is it in beer? Drop it in beer?
No.
What do you drop it in?
What do your favorite thing? Tattoo ink? Drop it in Red Bull.
Oh,
right? Yeah, you drop a shot of Jaeger in Red Bull.
I thought it used to be beer back in the day. That was a flaming.
That's an Irish car bomb.
Well, I think we call it something.
Which, by the way, don't order in Ireland. They don't like that.
No, it's.
But also, that's not Jaeger. It's whiskey dropped in
beer.
Right, not Red Bull.
Well, yeah. But you don't. I mean, a Jaeger bomb. At no point has anyone dropped Jaeger. I mean, we used to take Jaeger bombs all the time in college. The one that would always get me is this bartender Kurt at this place called Crowley's would hook you up with free drinks, but like if you wanted a shot, you had to take Rumplemints and
Rumplemints.
Rumplemints. No,
you know, they didn't have Red Bull when we were in college. Like it hadn't been invented yet. Maybe it was beer at the time because it sounds familiar. I'm searching it. And the second question.
That's because the color red hadn't been invented yet when Ryan was in college. It was just
the second question on Google is, does Jaeger bomb get you drunk? Well, yes.
Yeah, but it also gives you a lot of energy.
To outrun the cops
for like 15 minutes, and then the crash hits.
In case, I mean, we told the winners rooftop story from 2019, right?
I don't know.
I'm guessing multiple times. Is this?
Yeah. Anyway, we did pipe bombs, which is where you take a can of Red Bull, cut a hole in it, pour out like an ounce of it, fill it up with vodka, and then you have to shotgun the can of Red Bull. It feels like when it hits you, it's like, I mean, you are.
It's like what?
I'm not going to do that again.
Scary.
Yeah. Anywho.
All right. So you're talking about the Panthers. We got sidetracked with the Jaeger bombs.
Yeah, I mean,
we will do Jaeger bombs. We have concluded.
I assume if Baker's playing that they're going to play all the starters. So like, I'm very curious to see how Ike Ekwonu looks. He's been less than sharp in terms of pass pro in the preseason. And I mean, I just think that if the Panthers offense, even against the Bills second string defense, if the Panthers offense can look sharp, I think it's going to get maybe a little bit more buzz for Carolina going into the season.
6.5. You idiots are almost talking me to the over. I'm still sticking with the under.
I'm not going to take either one. I think it feels like.
Are you still in the over, Breech?
I mean, here's my thing. If you are playing your starters, and sounds like the Bills are going to do that, or the Panthers are going to do that. Bills are not playing.
The Panthers are definitely doing it. Yeah.
So if you're the Panthers, and I think Matt Rule said they're going to play Baker Mayfield into the second quarter. We don't know how far that is.
He said they can even play the whole second quarter. Like he can play the whole first half, depending on how they look.
So if they go out and play the whole second quarter and cannot move the ball on the bottom of the Bills roster, I mean that's kind of deflating from a confidence standpoint. So I think Baker is going to do well. I think the Panthers' first offense is going to do well. I think they'll score 10 or 14 points. So I guess the only question is, can the Bills do anything to help them hit the over? I'm going to go the over.
Okay. No, I meant the season total win over 6.5.
I totally thought you were talking about the
6.5. Did you think the total in this game was 6.5?
No, I never heard him say 6.5. All I heard was over under.
I thought he's
at no point did he say 6.5.
Okay, I mean he clearly said 6.5.
No, he said
he's like, you guys are trying to get me on the over 6.5. I'm still saying under, and then I said I wouldn't take either way.
I thought he was talking about the point spread to the game, which is fluctuated. The point spread to the game has been 6 or 6.5, and then he was talking about the over under. It made it sound like he was talking about the game.
Breech thought the over under in this game was 6.5, and he's still
okay. When you said
under.
6.5, I did at first think you were talking about the point spread. I'll give
Thank you.
Okay.
But he was able to put it together.
Thank you.
Through context clues, numbnuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you guys are talking so much.
All right, we got to move to the second game.
All right. So anyway, do I think the Panthers are going to go over 6.5? Yes.
Oh my god.
I could see them being 7 and 10. I don't want to mess with it. I just with Baker, so I was heavy under before, and now I'm like, Seahawks at the Cowboys. Oh, and
Pete Carroll says they have 2 number 1 quarterbacks in Geno Smith and Drew Lock. I don't know how that hits you.
Pete Carroll made it clear the Seahawks are a 6.5 point favorite. Oh, you know what? We forgot to hit the news, but we can get to the Tyron Smith.
We'll get the news in a second. We can incorporate it here.
Pete Carroll says that they are going to the focus. There's a quote clear shift to playing their starters. The focus really shifts to the starters and the guys that we are counting on and are doing a lot of playing. Carroll said after Sunday's practice, we've been developing guys throughout and working with them and making sure that we know who we have and make it competitive and all that. But the focus is now on the starters to be playing. So Geno Smith and Drew Lock. It's possible that Geno Smith already has the job, dare I say, locked down.
You could say
I
that,
wouldn't
sure.
say that. Yeah, I wouldn't say it.
Well, I mean, Drew Lock's only played like a half because he had COVID. So,
And Ken Walker,
In that half, he looks better than Geno.
that's not true. Ken Walker, they hope to have back by the start of the season. Their second-round pick running back.
so they're uncertain that he'll be back there.
Their defenses look pretty good. They drafted a couple young guys.
Yep.
Oyamafe has been good. The cornerbacks they drafted have been good. But, again, they're playing in that division. And they'll win more games than the Panthers. But how many more is the question, as Brinson makes a face, and fair enough. I don't know. I don't care about this team. I think the more important thing is the team they're playing, the Cowboys. Kyran Smith is out probably for the season. I thought it was a hamstring injury, but Debo has it listed as an avulsion of the fracture of a knee. Is that the same?
That involves the hamstring being detached from.
Ooh.
Yep. It's the exact same injury as Mekhi Becton, which
sounds much worse when you called it avulsion fracture of the knee.
Yeah, an avulsion fracture of the knee, which means like the way that the fracture occurs, your hamstring is separated from your knee, which is, oh my God. I don't see the Cowboys hope to have him back by November. That feels very optimistic. If he is out, the stat from NFL Research at NFL Research on Twitter, if Smith is out until at least November, he will have played in just 13 of 44 games since the start of 2020. And this is the 7th injury to cost Smith multiple games missed since 2016. It does not feel like he has a ton of time left as an NFL player, to be honest. Like at some point, I mean, he's made a boat ton of money. He's had success. I mean, he's been one of the key components of the Cowboys. He's probably a Hall of Famer.
You guys are way too liberal with the Hall of Fame, so I don't know about that. But their offensive line is in deep doo-doo. So they drafted Tyler Smith. He's going to play guard. He played tackle last year in college at Tulsa. Tyron Smith was going to be the left tackle. Now Matt Lawatsko, who they drafted, I think he's probably a day 3 guy. I liked him as a day 3 guy. I don't know. He's next on the depth chart. I don't know if that's who they're going to have elevate to the left tackle position or if they're going to try to pick someone off the scrap heap. I will say they're going to have a lot of competition finding guys who get cut around the league because the Steelers are in desperate need of some offensive line help as well. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're looking for offensive linemen at this point in the process, you're in a bad way. And this is terrible news, obviously, for Tyron Smith, but terrible news for Zeke, terrible news for Dak, terrible news for this team's chances. Great news for Debo and his Philadelphia Eagles, though.
Yeah, and I do think I think Ed Werder reported that Eric Fisher would probably consider playing for the Cowboys, but he had already turned down 9 other teams, and I do think that's one advantage the Cowboys will have is that.
Yeah, but how big of an advantage is Eric Fisher, who hasn't played in a while and wasn't?
No, not Fisher necessarily, but if you are looking to play for a contender, the Cowboys are probably going to be higher on your priority chart than another team looking for left tackle. But yeah, I mean, their offensive line situation, you just look dating back to last season with losing La'el Collins and Connor Williams going to the Dolphins. So you're already trying to fill in 2 holes.
The offensive line is just no longer the strength of the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you say, hey, Zach Martin, I don't even know what you do here. Like, it's just such a disaster right now. That
I mean, it was like 4 years ago, they had easily the best offensive line in football. And now, or one of the best offensive lines in football.
Yeah,
maybe it's 5 years ago. I mean, now you have
it's gone.
Travis Frederick retires. I mean, you surprisingly, I would have thought Tyron Smith was worth more than this, but Caesars William Hill only moved the Cowboys to plus 135 and the Eagles to plus 150. I do think you will see more Eagles money coming in as we get closer to the season. So again, if you like the Eagles to win the division, which Sully and I said we did, that would be the time to bet them at plus 150.
By the way, Stephen O, our buddy at Sportsline, sent out the numbers. 10.1 wins with Tyron Smith, 9.7 without, so almost a half a game difference. Chance to win a division went from 48% to 41%. That's a lot.
I mean, like I said, look, Stephen O does a better. I think that's underselling Tyron Smith's impact.
40%. That's a huge. It's almost 10% drop off. Yeah, 7.5%. But I mean, that's a huge for one player.
Yeah.
I mean, you lose Dak Prescott. who else would have
I
that
think
sort of
he's the
impact?
second most important person on the Cowboys.
Right. So I think this feels about right.
And I could rather lose them their entire offensive coaching staff than Kyran Smith.
They felt like a 50-50 chance.
And not be replaced by anybody. Just like the offensive
Exactly.
players. I mean,
just playing with 10
actually
guys.
increased their win percentage by 7.5%.
So I think it's dire, as sort of we're alluding to. We'll see how it sorts itself out.
I mean, I always think back to that game where Dak got obliterated. I think it was Dak got obliterated by Adrian. Remember Adrian Claiborne for the Falcons had like 5 sacks.
Yeah.
It was because Tyron Smith wasn't playing. Like he is a major, major impact guy. I mean, top 5 offensive lineman easily in the NFL.
Maybe the Cowboys should trade Zach Martin to the Steelers for Chase Claypool. That would help.
I'm not sure that would help
the Steelers.
Michael Gallup not going to go on PUP, which is good for the Cowboys, I guess. And Jerry Jones said he's not worried about the wide receivers after seeing him in camp. He cited Jalen Tolbert, who I really like, out of South Alabama, but not a. I mean,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, like Jerry says what Jerry says. I think they're I think the Cowboys are suddenly a much better team on defense than they are on offense.
Jerry's the guy who went on First Take Thursday morning and said the team revolves around Ezekiel Elliott. So
there you go.
I'm not sure we can take what Jerry says seriously. And the other part of that, him saying that, hey, we don't need to put Michael Gallup on the physically unable to perform list, is that what if Gallup doesn't play in those first 4 games? Then you just wasted a roster spot. So they're assuming he'll be able to play.
But they've done that without hesitation before.
Wasted a roster spot when you need
Tony Romo. Didn't they like not put Tony Romo on the IR after he like broke his back in the preseason and Dak took over? And they could have done it at any time because remember he was. Yeah, I think they kept Romo's roster spot open even when Dak Prescott's like 6-1. So, anywho,
all right.
The Chargers at the Saints. Dennis Allen hasn't said anything about whether he's going to play his starters. He was very up in the air on that one, and we know the Chargers aren't going to play many people. By the way, is one of those? Oh, never mind. It was on Thursday night, but the first Prime Video game, kind of interesting.
First Prime Video game
on Amazon Prime. First game on Amazon.
I was going to bring it up when we actually talk about the 2 teams that are playing. Oh, we're not talking about 49ers Texans.
All right. Anyway, Breech. So moving on to Chargers Saints. I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot here. Both teams are 0-2.
Do you think Breech's 3-year-old daughter gets exasperated with her dad and say, "Okay, I got to go in the other room because I can't stand to be around you saying all this stupid stuff"?
Please, Dad, you are really being immature.
Well, I don't want us to get sidetracked on another game when we're talking about this game.
Yeah, so that's why you brought up the 2 teams. There's not a whole lot to talk about with Chargers Saints, I don't think.
All right, let's move on.
Okay.
The Saints, by the way, I'll just say quickly, Prisco's trying to steal my conversation about the Saints winning the division. I've been saying that for months, Pete, so don't even get on that bandwagon. Or if you do, get in the back. So, Jameis all the way. All right, next game.
And Jameis wants to play, so maybe he sees a couple plays.
I have the Chargers winning the division and the Saints winning the division. So, lock it up. All right.
Super Bowl preview for you, Wilson?
Pats at the Raiders. The Raiders are undefeated this preseason. McDaniels likes to score points. I don't think Belichick's going to care too much about trying to beat McDaniels.
He might be trying to figure out ways to beat Matt Patricia and Joe Judge if they can't get the play calling down pat.
Yeah, so there's Belichick. The Patriots haven't said what they're going to do with their players in this game. The issue for them is it sounds great in practice to say, yeah, we'll sit our guys and we'll just worry about the regular season. It's like this offense needs reps pretty badly.
Yes, I don't disagree with that.
Mac Jones last year in week 3 of the preseason went 10 of 14 for 156 yards and a touchdown. Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevens had 9 total carries, and most of the receivers were only out there for a brief period of time. So if Belichick follows it to that extent, I would expect we see some Mac Jones. This game's a pick 'em. I don't think I would mess with this one just because McDaniels has been aggressive in the.
Who has more wins at the end of the year, Raiders or Patriots?
I mean, I would take the Raiders, I think.
They're in that division, though.
Raiders.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're a better football team, just objectively.
Yeah,
Belichick might throw his starters out there tonight. Or
they're in a
Friday.
much tougher division. Though.
You think Belichick plays the starters?
I mean, he regularly.
I think he plays them some.
Played Brady in the 3rd game, not the preseason. This is the dynamics have changed because there's 3 preseason games instead of 4. But when you look at the 3rd preseason game, if coaches are still treating it that way, Belichick has historically.
Because I mean, we still have 2 weeks before.
Right. So you have if somebody gets banged up, you have plenty of time to heal.
Yeah, and it's like, and you don't want if you don't play your starters in week 3 of the preseason, that's it's you could be staring at like maybe a month, in terms of the time that they go between playing on the field. All right.
One thing quickly. What do you think Bill Belichick would have done if Tom Brady said he wanted to take 11 days off to go on vacation with his wife in August?
I mean, I think Tom Brady would let him do it right now, just to get Tom Brady back in the fold.
No, I mean like 10 years ago.
He would have traded him to the Jets.
Yeah,
I think that's right.
Yeah. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, more preseason action next.
Starfleet, get to Starfleet. Prepare for Warp 10 excitement.
Yeah! This is an unauthorized launch. It is the greatest adventure of your life.
These broken rocks are reading our nightmares, but I don't like my nightmares.
Behold!
So magical.
Whatever happens,
We're in this together.
Jaguars versus. Smash that like button, by the way. Shout to Saddam for pointing out in the chat to smash it. Hit the like button if you're watching the video, whenever you're watching it. And go ahead and subscribe. Jaguars at the Falcons. Nehemiah. Do we care anything? I mean, I can't. Do you, Breech, if Trevor Lawrence is going to. The Jaguars are 0-3. I don't think Doug Peterson really cares about.
I tell you this much: that offense looked pretty good, and the defense, both sides of the ball, looked good last week in the first half against the Steelers. I think this team, I feel like you guys with the Panthers, but this team is going to be better.
I think the Jaguars are live to win the division.
Okay, that's a little rich for my blood, but they're going to be a better football team. So that's good. The Falcons, I have a ton of questions. Marcus Mariota is basically just holding the fort down for Des Ridder, who played pretty well last week too. So he's had 2 relatively good weeks for a rookie. But the Falcons feel like a team that's either spinning its wheels or actually going backwards.
Hey, but you know what? They gave us a shout out on. They gave me a shout out.
Thank you. That's why I said they're only going to win one game. Had they given me the shout out, I would have had them winning the division.
Yeah, I mean, look, if Trevor Lawrence, I can't. I don't see anything.
And Peterson already said that most starters will not play.
Okay, so all right, so we don't expect to see much of Trevor Lawrence. Maybe the Falcons. If Lawrence is not playing, the Falcons are probably a pretty good look against the spread. That line is Falcons -4. Yeah, I like that. Because Desmond Ridder's been coming in and playing aggressively and trying to steal this job from Mariota. Mariota needs to play well enough to keep him off of him. And if you don't have any Jaguar starters out there, I think Falcons -4 is a pretty good look. Rams at the Bengals. Bengals -2.5. Man, there's not a whole lot here, I don't think, because
Final score is going to be 3-0.
Big game for Breech. This is the payback Super Bowl game. Yeah. If you win this, will be
Super Bowl.
I don't remember. The winner of this game.
Now, are you going to pay $3,000 to go see this game too?
I would, because flying to Cincinnati at this point and then getting a ticket will probably be $3,000, with the flight costing $2,900 of that.
Couldn't you just drive to Cincinnati from Nashville?
5 hours? I don't do 5-hour drives, Brinson.
Really?
You literally drove from? Didn't you drive a 5-hour drive from the combine?
Yes.
That was before I didn't do 5-hour drives. that was pre-pandemic. Post-pandemic, I don't do 5-hour drives.
This dude. Was it? The Mirage only has a 3-hour.
I want Breech driving 5 hours in that Mitsubishi. You get great gas mileage.
You would think.
Anyway, Rams at Bengals Saturday 6:00 NFL Network. I mean, not a whole lot there, right? I don't anticipate any major players going in this game.
No.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Okay. I mean, Joe Burrow's not playing, right? He practiced this week against the Rams, and that was the thing. And that's the other thing we don't talk about enough is that they do these joint practices, and teams like that better than the actual games in terms of getting something constructive out of it.
Yeah, Bill Belichick even went on a rant about how much he likes joint practices more than games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they just moved to that eventually. Well, they do like the money on the preseason games.
Yeah, they gotta make it part of the season ticket package.
Gotta figure out a way to really, make that money. They certainly don't make enough. Cardinals at the Titans. Titans -3 in this game. Oh, sorry. Commanders Ravens is next.
I was gonna say you just
CBS has them in a different order. I don't use, but Commanders at Ravens. Ravens -6.5 over under 39.5. You just don't bet against the Ravens in the preseason.
Mm-mm. The folks in Baltimore seem to think that Lamar Jackson will be under contract when the season starts. I am
Really
less certain of that. So we'll see what happens.
Why? What are you hearing?
Oh no, this is just talking to the radio guys. Our buddies Bob Haney and Vinny Serrato. They seem more concerned about the lack of depth at wide receiver. I said, what about Lamar? He'll be fine. I said, okay, we'll see. I don't know if he'll be fine.
Was it a he'll be fine as in
he'll be there, he'll play?
Oh, I don't know. Lamar's going to play. I'm not worried about that. I don't think nobody thinks Lamar Jackson's going to sit out.
Yeah, but wouldn't you want him to be happy as opposed to thinking about?
I would be fine if he's motivated to make you give him $60 million.
But why would the Ravens do this? You would think they learned their lesson with Joe Flacco when they said, you know what, Joe, do whatever you want. We're not giving you the contract you want. Bets on himself, wins a Super Bowl, and then they have to overpay him. And now here you are, same situation 10 years later.
Well, sure. I mean, but they won a Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. And if the Ravens,
I think they would do the Flacco deal. I think they would do the Flacco bet on yourself.
Yeah, but even more recently, I would imagine that the Ravens watched what Jerry Jones did with Dak Prescott and just waited around to pay him another $5 million a year.
Oh man, I think the Ravens are a good bet. Ron Rivera said Wednesday that Commander starters will play, quote, very limited during Saturday's exhibition finale. This is from WTOP in Washington against Baltimore. When asked if that meant the starters on both offense or defense, the head coach nodded and said, yep, before repeating very limited once more. So,
okay.
But yeah, I mean, look, I think the Ravens want to sign Lamar Jackson. I just don't know that it's like feasible to bang out a contract with someone who doesn't have an agent that within that short amount of time.
All right. Well, it's just going to cost you more money down the road. I think is the point that Breech is making.
But I mean, they would like to do it. It's just hard. It's not an easy process. Like if Lamar had an agent, and I'm not saying that Lamar should have an agent. I'm just saying if he did have an agent, like that agent has a bunch of people working with him, hammering out, going back and forth with the team. Instead it's Lamar, and you're trying to find time to go back and forth with the team, while you're also trying to find time to get ready for the season.
And then I think Jay Glazer reported that the Ravens did offer him more than what Kyler Murray got, which was more than what Watson got, but
not fully guaranteed.
Not fully guaranteed, and that is the giant wrench.
Harbaugh is not said whether his starters will play, but Lamar
doesn't
Jackson,
matter. They're undefeated.
Most of the starters have yet to play a preseason snap. So,
and
but you still get like Tyler Huntley and those guys. And
by the way, the next game is Eagles at Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
Bet the Eagles because everyone on the Dolphins team had diarrhea on Thursday.
Oh, that's a fascinating piece of information.
It wasn't all of them. It was.
Are you a doctor?
By the way, I've been getting harassed by Dolphins.
Were there enough toilets?
They had to cancel practice, I think, because there was a stomach bug going around. Not everyone had it, but I think
I had an HQ clip go like quasi viral, and Dolphins fans have been all over me.
What'd you say?
I said that Tua hype's been a little.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know. I said the Tua hype has been a bit. I predicted the Patriots could potentially upset the Dolphins in week 1, which is just not that crazy a claim. And I said the Tua hype has been a little bit over the top. It's been a little aggressive just in terms of how, it's been reported. And I said sometimes on that particular beat, you get some reporters who are very enthusiastic about the way that they frame how the team looks and how the team.
Who called you out?
What's that?
Who called you out? Beasley
Joe Shad, who I was not talking about, by the way. I was referring to Joe Shad when I said that.
Oh, you said that on air. I thought you meant
said on HQ. They tweeted it out. Joe Shad quote tweeted it.
What did he say?
And I think a bunch of people got mad. In fact, like some dude who I think works for PFF, try to. First of all, people were like, "Oh, 2 is 3-0 against Belichick, you idiot!" It's like, well, yeah, I mean, it's like 2 is that's fine, but his average is 145. I'll have to look it up, but I don't think his stats are that incredible. I think he has 2 touchdowns and 2 picks.
Dang.
But
there it is. Thank you.
But there's some dude from PFF who's like literally in his bio says he's a Dolphins fan. It was coming to the support of Tua and crew, which is kind of ironic, but whatever.
Hey, Will Brinson, did the Miami Dolphins run over your cat or something? Based on your weekly picks, they'd be 1-7, and you picked them to lose the past 3 weeks. This is from November 12th, 2020.
Yo, Will Brinson, you got Venmo? I'll take that bet in the Patriots-Dolphins game. Please tell this moron Will Brinson that Tua is 3-0 against Belichick.
Have you seen any training camp at all? And do you know anything at all about football? Miami has an elite secondary. Tua is 3-0 against the Patriots. You were
I always
getting
have to root against the
crushed.
Dolphins all year. Brutal.
Oh my gosh.
I kind of like the Dolphins too. It's just
Brinson dove headfirst in the shallow end as a child.
good.
Oh,
I told you
gosh.
about it. Hey, I didn't.
Brinson, is this what your mentions were like for the past few days?
I just didn't. I don't think I've tweeted for like 48 hours. Like it was like what is it, like last Thursday? No. It was yeah. It was and I look
Thank
really
you,
sharp
Devo.
there.
Oh, thank you, Devo. There it is.
That's not up, but sure.
That's a whooping. Oh, someone even included the Will Smith yelling at Chris Rock thing to Brinson. Keep to his name out your mouth. Bookmarked. Someone bookmarked it.
So, Brinson, you have been banned from the city of Miami. I don't think it'd be in the best interest of your safety to visit.
I probably shouldn't go back to Miami anytime soon anyway, Breech.
Wow.
What?
Imagine this guy gets paid for his opinions. That one's evergreen. We get that one every week. Not just you, everybody.
Oh, Simon, I know Simon Clancy. I was gonna
LOL, there's Tua hype from where? That's Brinson's burner account.
But that's what I'm saying. There are people who are like, "What? Who's hyping Tua?" It's like, oh my god, the Tua hype is. Am I not wrong? Right? The Tua hype's been really like.
Andrew Oates on Twitter says Will Brinson played JV. I think that's probably more accurate.
I wish I played JV.
This was great. Thanks for pointing this out. I didn't even know it was a thing.
Oh my god, I couldn't even like open my mentions for basically from like Thursday. So that was.
Brinson, you need to hire someone to run your Twitter account so you don't have to deal with the.
So
the
I went to. That was Friday morning. That was Friday around lunch, and it was like I couldn't like open my mentions until basically like Monday morning. If Tua comes out and has a monster first week, that's gonna be a problem.
Here's what I've learned.
There's 6 interceptions.
The Dolphins are 3-0 against the Patriots when Tua plays. That's what I now know. I didn't know that.
I didn't. I mean, I'll be honest. When I mouthed off about the Patriots, in fact, I picked like 7 games that could possibly be upsets, and I told producer Noah to just pick whatever 5 he wanted. I think it was Noah. Anyway, and that was not the one I thought that was going to be
the problem.
Yeah. So Tua, by the way, Tua splits against the Patriots. He's 3-0. Has completed 68% of his passes, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 81.9% passer rating, 456 yards in 3 games. I'm not a math major, but that is 152 yards per game. Wow. Amazing. He's really dominated the Patriots.
Now you lean into it. There it is.
I mean, it's just not like what
I mean, I remember the opener last year was also Dolphins Patriots, and the Dolphins won 17-16. The Patriots were driving down, got inside of Miami's 15-yard line. So literally they're already in field goal range. You could just run out the clock, kick a field goal, go up 19-17. And I think Damian Harris fumbled. So one of the running backs fumbled. Dolphins recovered, game over.
Also,
so
I mean, like
Tua won that game.
Also, I mean, let's not forget that like Brian Flores, all three of those wins is Brian Flores versus Belichick, and Brian Flores coaching up the defense. I'm not saying Josh Boyer can't be great, but like, I mean, this defense should be different. It might not be as good this year. I think the offense will be better, but to suggest that Tua is the reason that they've beaten the Patriots every year is outrageous.
This is my favorite tweet from Vince from Mannion.
Clown College.
He's sashaying into Clown College.
Just remind me of this Twitter account. That's pretty great.
Yeah, I think that annoys me more than anything when people tweet at remind me of this and they remind you on what you asked for.
I never even heard of that.
I'd seen it previously on some other similar type anger tweet. So yeah, that I put that in there because
that's awesome.
It's sort of annoying.
I guess. Remember that guy, the Raiders fan, who said that if the Vikings won more games than the Raiders, he was like, "You're an idiot. The Vikings will never win more games than the Raiders." I was like, if the Raiders win more than the Vikings, I'll print this tweet out and eat it. And he's like, I'll do the same. And he never did, never paid it off.
The Raiders won more than the Vikings last year, didn't they?
That's like 4 years ago.
Oh, okay.
The Vikings won the freaking division. Anyway. All
right. Well, keep Tua's name out of your mouth is the lesson there.
Yeah, just keep running your mouth and just don't worry about it. Eagles, anything from we talked enough about the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Cardinals, Titans.
I like the Dolphins to win the division. All right, what's next?
What? Really?
I'm just saying that to keep the Dolphins fans off my back. Cardinals Titans.
Two for MVP. Dolphins win the division.
Cardinals Titans. I got
Yeah, by the way, Sim and Stim does correctly point out in the chat that if the Pats do win, yeah, I might remind me of this on every single one of those tweets. Bears at Browns. Deshaun Watson playing in this game? I guess so, right?
Oh, that would be funny.
I don't think so. I think
he
had said that Watson wasn't going to play anymore this preseason.
Yeah, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to play him. Imagine if he played towards ACL, he's just out for the year.
That would not be great.
Yeah, that would be a disaster.
So Justin Fields, Bears are 2-0 in the preseason. I assume Fields is going to play something in this game, right?
This team is 2-0 in the preseason. They feel like a 1-win football team once the regular season starts. That's how dysfunctional. Dysfunctional is not the right word. They have a new coach, new GM, but how long the odds feel for this team in terms of having players able to do things you want to do. Roquan Smith's betting on himself, he said, so he'll play even though he doesn't have the new deal, wasn't able to be traded. So that helps in some sense, but again, there's so many holes in this team.
Oh, so they plan to play Justin Fields the entire first half of the finale against the Browns. Fields will mostly, I'm reading from our pal Michael David Smith of Pro Football Talk. Although Fields will likely have most of the first string offense around him, Eberflus did say he might give certain veteran starters more rest in the third and final week of the preseason. Roquan Smith will not be among the veteran starters resting. He's planning to have him play while he bets on himself. Good for him. So Bears probably a good look here too, right? Bears are plus 4.5.
Ooh,
Bears are not a good football team.
It's a preseason. They're 2-0.
Yeah, but the other team's not playing anyone. You want a fun fact? I watched the last Bears preseason game against the Seahawks at a bar in Chicago.
All right. You went to, how was your bachelor party?
It was fantastic. Didn't have a voice for like the last 3 days. This is the first day I've been able to talk. I've never
these are the words that you decided to come up with? The things coming out of your mouth?
No wonder you're so funky coming out of the start of the show. You've been shaking off this bachelor party for 4 days, haven't you?
I'm still drinking coffee to recover.
No, I heard ice move in that cup. That's not coffee.
It's iced coffee. That's why it's in this cup, Brinson.
Shake it. Shake it in front of the mic.
He's not shaking it.
There's no ice in there. There's a lie somewhere here.
It's been in there all morning.
That's
not shake
ice.
something like this.
Oh, wait. Oh, wait. It's how old is this iced coffee?
Like 2 hours.
Did you get it from Starbucks?
No, this is a Starbucks cup, but it's I have a homemade ice brew. So I don't
can't make it last fast enough.
So that Starbucks coffee that is designed to keep ice cold and keep ice frozen has somehow lost all the ice.
It's a plastic holiday cup that they give away for free. I don't think it's not a tumbler.
A tumbler. He just said tumbler.
You have free cups have low expectations.
All right,
how many lies is Breech telling about his coffee right now?
I quit listening.
One, he's claiming there's no alcohol in there, which is clearly a lie.
So anyway, Bears fans looked depressed at the beginning of this game, and then they scored, and it was literally, I think they got a field goal in the first quarter. It was like they had won the Super Bowl. Fans were just like, "Oh my God, our first team scored." I think it was at Timothy O'Toole's. Shout out to everyone there. So it was interesting to see Bears fans react to a preseason win.
The sounds like Jacoby Brissett's going to start for the Browns. I assume they kind of go with their same sort of thing. Like everybody.
By the way, Mary Kay Cabot just reported on Thursday afternoon that Jacoby hit his hand on an offensive lineman's helmet. He held it for a moment. So just something to keep in mind. Stefanski said, I was seeing red out there for a defender getting that close to his now starting quarterback.
I think I would take the Bears plus 4.5 for the game.
Okay. I'm not
under 40.5 too.
Who wins more games? The Bears.
I think Jacoby Brissett and Justin Fields are going to light it up.
Who wins more games? The Bears or the Browns this season?
Browns.
Could you imagine if Brissett had injured his hand? The only two quarterbacks on the roster would have been the Joshes. Josh Dobbs and Josh Rosen. Like,
oh boy.
Then on
the Bears. You got to trade for Jimmy. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
All right. The 49er. Oh no, we already covered the. What am I talking about? The Commanders. What am I seeing? The Commanders or the Ravens. We already covered. Bet the Ravens.
Cardinals Titans.
That's right. Cardinals
we
Titans.
brought it up and then skipped it.
How do you feel about the Nashville football team, Breech?
I picked them to win the division last year. I am not going to pick them to win the division this year. That is how I feel about them. Just feel like too many questions at wide receiver. Obviously Traylon Burks, Robert Woods to replace AJ Brown. I don't know if they can. I still don't know how I feel about Ryan Tannehill. Derrick Henry will always be good, but how much he gets beat up every single game, and how much punishment can one man take?
Mm-hmm.
So that's
What do we know how much time we're going to get for either of these teams? I can't. It's hard to find exactly what the.
Yeah, especially usually it sometimes doesn't happen until like hours before.
Well, a lot of these coaches will hold out the info till like Friday if it's a Saturday night game. I don't see anything for the Cardinals, so probably stay away from that one. I don't think. Let me see what Vrabel did. We can actually get a decent idea if we look at 2021. Same coaches typically would think they stick to their philosophy.
This is another situation where you have the joint practices, and I do feel like we see fewer starters on the field when there's a joint practice situation leading up to the game.
Cardinals Saints was canceled last year in week 3.
Oh,
because of the hurricane coming towards New Orleans, I think.
So Vrabel can be tricky here.
What?
We don't know what he's going to do. So, Cardinal Saints, not
Cardinal Saints. Yeah, I was like, what? And then last year, the Titans lost to the Bears 27-24. Nothing from Ryan Tannehill or Derrick Henry. So I would anticipate we don't see any Titan starters. We don't know what the Cardinals will do, but I do think you're right. Like when you have all those joint practices, you get those reps that you feel good about. So that's a good theme to watch. Breech. Buccaneers Colts, however, we are getting both Matt Ryan and Tom Brady will be starting. Todd Bowles said most of the Buccaneers players will be out there. Anyone who's healthy will be out there playing. And Jerry Mersey tweeted shortly thereafter saying Matt Ryan and Tom Brady starting in week 3 of the preseason. So 2 teams combined 0-4, going to toss out the big dogs in week 3.
What if Tom Brady comes out there in a lounge chair and just puts it in the middle of the field?
What if he comes out in a mask?
He's 45 and do whatever he wants.
What if he sings the national anthem before in a mask?
Someone was dunking. Oh, right. It was Charles Robinson dunking on all the idiots that were putting forth the mass singer rumors. So you had a tough week, Brinson, between that and hating on Taylor.
Well, I like Charles Robinson. I like each other.
He didn't call you. I think he said social media randos, which I like even better.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think I was. I think I was like in the middle of like the Dolphins Twitter sabbatical, and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of funny." I tweeted out, people were like, "Is that true?"
I feel like this is one of the most watchable preseason games of this whole entire year
in the history of the preseason.
In the history of the preseason, you got Brady just took 11 days off and went to the Bahamas with his wife. Didn't go on the Masked Singer, but now he's playing football again.
And the Colts are minus 5.5.
And I love Todd Bowles on Thursday just saying it wasn't a big deal that Brady wasn't here. He wasn't going to play in the first 2 games, so it doesn't matter that he missed those. And then he said that Brady would have missed multiple practice anyways due to veteran days off, and so that he actually only missed 3 practices during his 11-day absence, and that none of this is a big deal.
That's a lot of pretzel twisting to explain that away.
Yeah.
Just say he's Tom Brady.
It wasn't a big deal to us because everybody knew what was going on. Todd Bowles said about Brady's absence.
I would imagine Todd Bowles would have rather not have to deal with that, if I had to guess. Whatever.
Yeah. Tom Brady comes out and plays like crap, by the way.
Well, I told you he's winning the division.
It's going to be interesting if he looks rusty. Not even rusty. It's the offensive line. It's funny the Cowboys and Buccaneers are playing each other in week 1 because those are the 2 teams that have the biggest offensive line issues right now. Or question marks because injuries, you don't know who's going to be there. And that's the thing with Brady is that even if he's just as good as he was last year, if he only has 1.2 seconds to throw, he could be in trouble.
As I predicted back in May.
As Wilson predicted.
Oh, this line is down to Colts minus 3 now because of the news from.
I don't think Jonathan Taylor is playing for the Colts.
Yeah, wouldn't make any sense. I would.
What's the over under?
Maybe the over 41.5 is a look. Could they get to 30 in the first half?
That's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points.
I don't like this game.
I mean, I can't imagine that Matt Ryan and Tom Brady are playing the second half. They might be out by the second quarter, but you're going to see some of them.
Right. Like a dozen snaps each or something.
Yeah, probably a dozen snaps each. So in other words, you need to kind of get your points early. Maybe there's an opportunity to go under. I don't know. These I haven't been great with these over-unders. Feels like
it's impossible. It's a preseason. Just the Ravens is the only sure bet.
God, I was scrolling through and didn't realize I'd gotten to the regular season. It was like over under 52. I was like, what? It's the Bills Rams game.
I bet against that right now.
Yeah. Next up, the Vikings and Broncos, the Saturday night 9 p.m. game on NFL Network.
Good Lord.
Nathaniel Hackett's been pretty clear about how he's going to approach preseason games, and that means no Russell Wilson. Can't imagine he plays in this one. We haven't seen Kirk Cousins, have we?
No, he had COVID last week, and I don't think he played the week before.
Remember, Kevin O'Connell comes from the Sean McVay school of thought that
I don't think Kurt took snaps in week 1. I can't remember.
Pretty sure.
They traded for Nick Mullen. They got Kellen Mond.
Well, and so they definitely need to figure out. Well, they still have Sean Mannion. From what I understand, it's going to be Kellen Mond. They probably want to put on the practice squad, and then the number 2 guy is Sean Mannion versus Nick Mullins.
Not a great showing for Kellen Mond, who I like coming out of Texas A&M.
And maybe they keep Kellen Mond on the roster, but
still not a great 2-year run for him.
Yeah, Kellen Mond and Sean Mannion took the snaps in week 1 against the Raiders, and then week 2, obviously Cousins, they scored 7 points. I mean, they just haven't been playing their starters, so I can't see any reason why we would see their starters.
But they have a great backup QB battle, is my understanding. Brinson, didn't you talk about that in HQ?
I just talked about it just right now. Like, I literally just finished saying it.
But did you predict the winner?
Yes, Nick Mullins.
Okay.
Sean Mannion gets cut.
Need you to be clear.
Yeah. Keep drinking.
Coffee.
Yeah. And it's like straight tequila.
Tequila flavored coffee.
They have coffee flavored tequila.
I've seen it before.
I've had it before, and the next day I woke up and took a sip of my coffee and was like, oh. So I was like, I could never drink it again.
Yeah, if you want to ruin coffee for yourself quickly,
that's how you ruin coffee very quickly. All right. Finally, not a whole lot of action going on in Vikings Broncos there. The 2 Sunday games at 1 p.m. on NFL Network. The Snoopy Bowl. The Jets and the Giants square off. They're both 2-0. I mean, I
don't even think Joe Flacco's playing in that game.
You don't think so?
I'm pretty sure that
Jets, Robert Saleh plans to play starters against Giants in final preseason game.
Okay.
So I would guess that means, yeah. I mean, that would mean Flacco's getting some run here.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel Jones needs to play. I don't know if I'd put Joe Flacco out there.
And Brian Daboll has yet to commit to what he wants to do, but his starters have played their first 2 games. So we'll see Flacco and Breece Hall out there. Kind of interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're having a joint practice on Thursday. The last time this is via amny.com. The last time the 2 teams did so in 2005, it became infamous for the ruckus fighting that ensued.
Wow.
It was Tom Coughlin. And Tom Coughlin was furious. This is Jordan Ronan and Rich Cimini relived the thing. The fights were out of control during joint practices held at the University of Albany between his team and the crosstown rival New York Jets in August 2005. The fiery coach got into the action, yelling and screaming at Jets defensive coordinator Donnie Henderson 20 yards away. You guys started the fight. Brandon Jacobs recalls Coughlin saying to Henderson, my guys wanted to protect themselves. You guys need to calm down. We're here supposed to be getting better. You guys just came out with that bleep, and he was just going off. Awesome.
Awesome indeed.
So yeah. That was Chad Pennington and Herm Edwards, man. Whew.
Chad Pennington.
Yeah.
Pretty good in college.
So yeah, it looks like I would guess we see some starters in for both of those teams.
Barstool.
Thank you.
What? Oh yeah.
That's where he went to college.
Just not ignoring Wilson. Sorry, Brinson.
I mean, I could have told you that. Do you know what his favorite food is?
Pizza.
Pickles. What is it?
Biscuits and gravy. He once said it on Monday Night Football.
Very well.
So suck it.
You guys want a fun fact?
Do you know who shares a birthday with Chad Pennington?
Who?
Guess. At least one guess.
You?
Yes. And Michael
What?
Vick. And Michael Vick. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. And Derek Jeter.
Here's your Chad Pennington fun fact from.
I gave you 2 great fun facts. It better not be more fun than
these
mine.
are just as good from 2001 to 2019. So Tom Brady's tenure in New England, the only 2 times the Patriots didn't win the division title, Chad Pennington
and then the Miami Dolphins
was the quarterback. Pennington was the quarterback for that team.
Oh, with
Wow.
Ronnie
He was
Brown
the
when they were
quarterback for
Wildcats?
both teams that won the division
That's a really fun fact.
when the Patriots hit, once with the Jets and once with the Dolphins. Man, who knew we'd have so much Chad Pennington love today?
Who knew?
I think Wilson knew. That's why he's
I
wearing
didn't,
Chad
I didn't
Pennington.
know.
He's got a Chad Pennington tattoo now that
Maybe.
he got during the
Maybe I
break.
got a Chad Pennington tattoo. Wilson got a Chad Pennington tattoo during this podcast. And finally, the marquee game of the weekend.
Wilson's team.
Of the preseason.
You can stream it on Paramount Plus. Is this the only game on CBS? Only game on regular CBS. Like
On
national
Sunday,
CBS.
Only 2 games on Sunday.
I mean, it's a good game.
No, but I'm saying like the other games are all local. You can't watch them unless I think this is a national CBS game.
I don't
Right.
think they're allowed to
From-
preseason.
Historic Acrisure Stadium. Stadium.
Excuse you.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Fighting Dan Campbell's. Well, this game will be featured on Hard Knocks too. Dan Campbell's, the Detroit Lions, 1-1 at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers are 2-0. Can Kenny Pickett steal the job from Mitchell Trubisky this week?
So I'm reading through the Athletic story about can Kenny Pickett win the job, and said there have been no hard and fast declarations of who will start the preseason finale. Pickett apparently worked with the first team on Wednesday, as we say this on Thursday. When asked if Pickett took more first-team reps in practice, Steelers coach Tomlin said, I didn't chart it in that spirit. I don't have the answer to that, which is a weird answer to the question, who took the most first-team reps in practice? So I think the momentum is building towards Kenny Pickett, but as Mike Sullivan, the Steelers quarterbacks coach, said, there's a huge difference between playing in the preseason and playing in a real game in terms of what you are capable of doing. I still contend that I would start Mr. Trubisky because the offensive line is worse than the Cowboys, and let Mitch take that flack, and then when he can't walk anymore, whatever, you bring in Kenny Pickett.
Well, do you buy into my theory that, and I espoused this on HB,
That he used to be the Masked Singer? No, I don't believe that's so.
No, that you go with Trubisky out of the gate. If it's close, you go with Trubisky out of the gate, because if you have to bench somebody for the other guy, you would rather bench the cheap veteran than the first. Like, you don't want to start.
Much like my would you rathers, you were stealing my theory. I've been saying that. I agree 100%.
We've been saying that for years, but it's like you don't want to start Kenny Pickett and he's 0-3 and lays a huge egg against Belichick in week 2, and then you have to bench Kenny Pickett for Trubisky.
I don't want to say this out loud too loudly. You don't want to Tua Tagovailoa, have Ryan, what's Ryan's name? Ryan Fitzpatrick, Tua, Ryan. Just make up your mind and then stick with it. It's a lot easier to go from one.
So you don't want you think that Tua is a disaster, is what you're saying?
I think Mitchell Trubisky should start the season.
Yeah, I think Mike Tomlin will.
Because if Kenny Pickett comes out and throws 5 interceptions, then what are you going to do in week 2?
Yeah. Now, on the other hand, like if you think Kenny Pickett's just the guy and he's ready, then you go with it. But I think Kenny Pickett's performance just shortens Trubisky's leash. Because we
also
previously said like 8 weeks, they're by week 9. It's like now if you get through week 2 and you're 0-2, it's Kenny Pickett time.
Also worth noting, Mason Rudolph has arguably outplayed or played as well as those other 2 quarterbacks in the preseason, but no one wants to talk about that.
And no one wants to trade for him, even though they're trying to trade him.
No one wants to trade a first-round pick for him either, apparently.
The Browns.
It's surprising. Our pal Chris Trapassa is trying to trade
Well,
a first-round pick.
With Pickett, though, he played some first half snaps in the last game, but he played against fourth quarter bottom of the Seahawks roster in that first game. So if you get him first quarter snaps against the starters, I mean, you just need to know how he's going to play in that type of situation, because if he was head and shoulders above everyone, I think the last time we saw something like that, and Wilson, you're nodding your head, was the Russell Wilson, Matt Flynn, where the Seahawks gave Matt Flynn so much money. They wanted Matt Flynn to be the starter so badly in 2012. Wilson kept tearing it up in like the third and fourth quarter preseason games. And they kept asking, Pete, are you going to give Russell a chance to play against the starters? And they kept pushing it off. And I think finally in the fourth preseason game, they're like, all right, we'll let Russell Wilson play in the first quarter. And then last week of August, they're like, I guess we got to name Russell the starter because he totally outplayed. And I kind of agree with you guys, unless it was that situation where Pickett just looks so much better that you let Trubisky play the first 2 games because it's Bengals Patriots, and then let Pickett jump in after that when you get the Browns and Jets. Although the Browns game's Thursday night.
Just wanted to know that Russell Wilson played like crap in the fourth week of the preseason, Breech.
Did he?
5 of 11 for 72 yards.
What were his rushing stats?
He didn't attempt to rush.
What?
Matt Flynn was 11 of 13 for 102 yards and a touchdown.
He was trying to
This is really putting a
stamp on the.
I mean, maybe you're off 1 week where like Russ was great in week 3. Let me look. Oh my God, the Seahawks scored 44 points.
Maybe they're a bunch of.
Yeah, this is what it was. Russ.
That was
it was week 3. It was week 3, and I think this is when they won the job. And then Flynn was like the starter in week 4,
right?
Because Russ had won the job. Flynn didn't even play in week 3. Russ goes 13 of 19, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also ran twice for 58 yards. Man, they scored 44 points
in a preseason game.
Yeah.
Did that get over the 6.5 over under that Breech thought that game was going to be?
They scored on their first. They scored on their first 6 possessions, and then the 7th possession was a missed field goal
with a 3rd round pick at QB.
Yeah. So in other words, you were wrong, but I helped correct your lie.
I was correct. It's 10 years.
You had the wrong weeks.
The point of my story was correct, and being off by 1 week, and a story that took place 10 years ago. Actually, I'll take that.
The point.
And Russ was just substantially better than Matt Flynn in week 2. 10 of 17 for 155 yards and 2 touchdowns. Flynn was 6 of 13 for 31 yards. Oh my God. Against that really good Broncos defense. So.
Oh boy.
God, Willis McGahee was on the Broncos then.
I don't want to keep going back to this, but I'm looking at this tweet that you stole and the Falcons tweeted out. Yeah. But someone put it, and one of the commenters put, good luck with the landmines. I mean, look at that, and then you tell me you're going to be obliterated. I don't want to get on. I mean, this is like a 10-second conversation, but that's a wrap.
I mean, if you get anywhere near a landmine, you're dead.
So, yeah. I mean, I don't know why anyone would take landmine.
That takes out like 4 people. Right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right.
So that's
looking back on this, Russ just straight up outplayed Flynn the entire time.
That's exactly what Breech said, and he yelled at him.
No, he said in week 4 they finally got a chance to tear it up, and Russ killed.
No, I didn't. I said he outplayed him the whole entire preseason, and then that
he was compared to
had to make a decision about the start and finally.
Sorry, Breech. Judge, jury, and executioner rules you wrong.
Oh my God!
All right, well that'll do it for us.
So badly for Brinson.
Thanks for listening. For Breech, for Wilson, I'm Brinson. Enjoy preseason week 3. These guys will be back on Monday
without Brinson.
We're
going to crap talk him then.
Who knows what?
Crap talk him. We're going to crap talk you.
Who knows what I'll be doing? All right.
Drinking tequila coffee.
See you guys.